So, welcome back to another episode of The Boring Wisdom. In this one, we'll be discussing how tiny changes create remarkable results. So, we'll be particularly focusing on building good habits, breaking the bad ones, and transforming your life. So, let's us first understand and accept that big goals feels overwhelming. Just a week ago, the new year started, 24-25 just started. You created some big ambitious goals, like you want to gain maybe 10 pounds or maybe lose 10 pounds. You want to look like David Goggins, you want to look like the Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. You have ambitious goal. You want to make like this amount of money. You want to create business or whatever that happens to be. So you set all of these big ambitious goals, which seems really ambitious, but they feel overwhelming. But what if I tell you that the secret to lasting change lies in the smallest actions? So there is an interesting book called The Atomic Habits, which if you read, then you'll discover how to create a function, how to create a system for continuous improvement, which helps you break bad habits effortlessly and design a system that works for you. Whether it's about becoming healthier, more productive, mastering a new skill, this guide is all about starting small and building habits that compound into extraordinary outcomes. So you don't necessarily have to pick up the book and entirely read it, 300, 400 pages, whatever that happens to be. I'll just give you a quick summary in maybe 10 to 12 minutes, and you'll be able to understand all of the concepts with actionable steps. So just stay tuned till the end of this, and I'll make sure that you get the best out of this. So, first things first, why habits matter. So, habits are the thing that shapes who we are and how we live our life. They are small, consistent action that we take every single day, and they compound into remarkable results over time. So you don't necessarily have to focus on the massive goals, like you want to build a muscular physique like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or you want to build a business as successful as Eman Gadgets. So you don't actually have to focus on the massive goals. You have to focus on the small actionable habits that align with the person you want to become. So you have to just create, you have to just set a goal and then create a system that aligns with that goal, right? You have to just think about it. Think about it for a second that you want to become an agency owner of digital marketing. Then what could be the small actionable habit that you can do? Maybe learn marketing, maybe watch an hour of content about marketing, or maybe read about marketing every single day for an hour or maybe two. This is the habit that will align with the person that you want to become. That's the secret to sustainable change. So now that we've understood why habits matter a lot, if we do anything over a long enough period of time, it compound interest, whether it's bad or good, whatever that happens to be. Now, how do you build habits? Like you started doing a lot of different things. Yeah, like you started doing journaling and you quit halfway through that, like 2, 3 days in. You started going to the gym, you quit that, you started doing that, you quit that, and all of these things. You started different habits, but you fail at most of them. So, how do you actually form the habit that lasts? So, first you have to understand that habits are built through a system which is called as the habit loop. And every habit, whether it's good or bad, follows this 4-step process. The first one is cue, a trigger that initiates the habit. Say, for example, I am bored. Like that is the trigger. And then there comes the craving, which is the second step, the desire to act based on the cue. So, my cue is I'm bored, like I'm bored, so what I want to do, I want some sort of like dopamine. That is my craving. I want dopamine, I want stimulation. Then there is the response, the third step, the actual behavior or the action. So what I want to do, like I'm bored and I want some stimulation, so where do I turn to? I maybe turn to video games, or maybe I turn to social media, right? And then there is the fourth step, the reward, the outcome that reinforces the habit. So did I get the stimulation and dopamine? Yes, I got the dopamine hit by either playing video games or scrolling social media. So that reinforces the habit. Like I want to do it more because I want got the dopamine. And dopamine is the thing that makes you do it more. So this is the step process. It goes in a loop: cue, craving, response, and reward. So by understanding this loop, you have got the key to creating good habits and breaking the bad ones. So if you can control the cue and make the reward satisfying, you can reshape any habit. Like you just have to change maybe the response or maybe the reward. If you want to break some sort of habit, then just change the reward. Or if you want to build an habit, then change the response. Put maybe a good response. Say for example, I'm bored, I want some stimulation or maybe a dopamine hit. I'll read a book or watch a podcast. That is my response to it. And reward is I learned something new. I started journaling it and I started to feel good. So this is how you create good habits. Now it seems weird, right? You have to like create so many changes in your life, like cue, craving, response, reward, all of these things. You have to put on something, you have to take out something, and all of these things. And now you'll sit down and wonder that, okay, they are huge improvements that you have to make in your life. No, they're not. You have to just focus on the tiny improvements because small gains adds up. You have to just focus on improving yourself 1% a day. It might not seem like much in a short course of time, but over a course of maybe a year, two, those small gains compound to make 37 times better than who you when you started. Like it just in a year, you'll be 37 times better. So you have to focus on the incremental progress rather than the drastic changes in your life. Just see the things in a long-term transformation. So now that you've understood the loop, like how do you actually create a good habit or break a bad habit, we have to now create the environment that will help you and make it easy for you to build a new habit and break a bad habit, right? So all you have to do is make it easy and make it stick with it. So there are 4 laws of doing that. The first one is make it obvious. The second is make it attractive. Third is make it simple. And fourth is make it satisfying. So the first one, make it obvious. Design an environment to bring attention to good habits. Say for example that you want to read books more often. Put books on your table or maybe around your bed or maybe wherever you sit most of the time. Put books around there. Just make it as obvious as humanly possible. Then the second is make it attractive. Pair habits with things that you enjoy when which basically makes them appealing. Say for example that if I read 10 pages of this book, I'll get to scroll social media for 10 minutes. Like there is the dopamine at the end of it. So it will make it attractive. Or say for example that if I read 30 pages of this book or if I complete this project, I'll get to eat a cake. This makes it appealing, right? You understand what I'm trying to say. Then the third thing is make it easy. Simplify the process to remove any friction. All you have to do is just be as precise as possible in your work, right? You have to have very much clarity. Say for example, I want to work on this project. No, be really clear about it. Like I want to create authentication systems for particularly this kind of user. Like I have multiple users on my system. Then advertiser, I'm going to create authentication for that. Login, registration, I'm going to do like the HTML, I'm going to do the forms.py, and I'm going to do like this particular thing. I'm going to create models or whatever that happens to be. So make it simple. By simplifying, I mean clarify. Clarify all of the things and remove all of the friction of thinking a lot. Just work. Then the fourth thing is make it satisfying. Reward yourself to reinforce the habit. Get dopamine, get stimulation. How do you do that? By maybe giving yourself a short treat or by giving yourself some rest break or maybe a little bit of social media. Like a little bit is good enough to reinforce that habit. So to break a bad habit, reverse these laws. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. That's how it works. If you want to break a bad habit, just remove all of the things. Just don't look at those things. If you can't see it, if you can't find it, you won't do it. As simple as that. Now, environment design. Your environment shapes your behavior. So set yourself up for success. Your environment can either make or break your habits. For example, if you want to eat healthier, place place fruits on the counter or maybe on the dining hall or maybe at your table, wherever that happens to be, wherever you see it more often, where you can see it like genuinely in your fridge. If you want to just get rid of junk food eating habits, then hide your junk food or maybe don't even buy the junk food if you want to get rid of that. So all you have to do is just create an environment that allows you to do more of the good habits and less of the bad habits. If you want to read more, leave books where you can see them. Like I've said before, small changes in your environment can create massive impact on your behavior. Now it comes my most favorite concept, identity based habits. So become the person who you want to be. You just have to visualize yourself being that person. Focus on the identity, not the outcomes. As I've said before, you have to just create a goal and then become the person who will be able to achieve that goal. Say, for example, that I want to lose weight. So focus on the identity. I'm the kind of person who takes care of his health. I'm the kind of person who works out every single day. I'm the kind of person who eats healthy food. I'm the kind of person who do cardio or all of these things. You have to just become that person, right? Instead of setting goals, you have to become like that person who just does not set goals, who had the habit of doing those things. When your habits align with your identity, they become easier to sustain. So every small habit is a vote for the person you want to become. Now that we've talked about the environment, the loop, the identity based goals, now the most important stuff, tracking your progress. Without tracking, you don't know where you're going. If you don't have a map, you're lost. That's it. That's it. If you don't have a map, you're lost. So, tracking your habits can boost your motivation and help you stay consistent with understanding that where you are and where you were and where you are going. You will be able to see the line if you have a proper tracking. So, use a habit tracker or maybe mark your progress every single day on a piece of paper or a journal. So, the visual satisfaction of seeing your streaks grow is a powerful motivator to help you keep going. Now, you have to understand one thing that once you start building some good habits and started breaking some bad habits, it does not happen overnight. You won't be able to create like fantastic habits overnight. You won't be able to break all of the bad habits overnight. You have to trust the process, and the progress will be slow, right? The progress will be slow. When building habits, progress feels slow at first. This is called as the plateau of latent potential, right? The plateau of latent potential. So all you have to do is just keep going, even if you don't see any kind of immediate result, even if you don't see results at all. Over time, you'll be able to see them. Your efforts will compound and breakthroughs will come. So now that we've talked about all the theoreticals, now let's just talk about some actionable, right? What you can do to get started. So basically all you have to do is just take the first step. Start small. All you have to do is just pick one small habit that you can do every single day. Say for example, drinking water as soon as you wake up every single morning, writing journal before you go to bed every single night. All you have to do is just start with some small habit that you can work on. Maybe reading a page a day. That's it. A page a day. You don't necessarily have to read a book a week. A page a day is good enough, right? Then use the 4 laws of behavior to change and design a habit, may be good or bad. So the 4 laws were pretty simple. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. And then the fourth step is track your progress and celebrate small wins. You can just put on some sort of like piece of paper and just write down your progress. Like say for example, I did this much work today and then I'll do this much work tomorrow. If you don't do that, then don't tick mark it. Use the check boxes. That's the basic thing. Use the check boxes method. Like as much as you tick, your brain will see like we ticked so much boxes today, we want more, and you'll be able to do more and more work because your brain like gets some sort of reward after that, and it reinforces you to do that more. Then fourth step, the last one is focus on identity and remind yourself why it matters most. You don't necessarily have to just focus on the goals, you have to focus on the system and become the person who will achieve that goals by extension. So remember, the goal is consistency, not perfection. Over time, these habits will transform your life. So stick to them. So this video has gone a little bit more longer than the usual ones we do. So understand just one simple thing. Atomic Habits shows that small changes done consistently leads to remarkable results. So focus on the habit that aligns with the person you want to become. By mastering tiny habits, you can achieve extraordinary outcomes. So start small, stay consistent, and let the compound effect take care of the rest. So if you like the video, put on a like. If you dislike the video, put on a dislike, and subscribe for more content like this. And see you in the next one.